Hey there, I'm just going to cut right to the chase. If you haven't watched part 1, go do that now. I started off by quickly giving the castle a black primer base coat, so that the other colors would go on evenly. The main color being this gray that I mixed up to give it that nice stone look. But because my brain cells have decided to depart for summer vacation, I ended up not having enough paint to finish covering the entire thing, so I had to mix up more to finish the process. That's what I would have said if I didn't run out of paint a second time, and this started to get on my nerves, but I just made another batch and kept going. Really, I had no one to blame but myself for my own poor planning and lack of foresight. Finally, I finished painting the base gray and could do other things with my life, such as, adding a door. Now, wood details are some of my favorite things to add to a build, and I make them using these wooden coffee stirrers. These things are the absolute best for making wood planks or square posts, the two things that I intend to put on this castle. Now, after I finish cleaning up my mess, I can take a bunch of these stirrers here and glue them to this cutout of the door I made. This is just to make sure everything is the right size. It also allows me to get this wonderful shot. Yeah, I bet nobody ever told you this was an ASMR channel. Well, it's not, and that wasn't even that satisfying, but whatever. I also wanted to make these square poles, which I'll place on the sides of the castle to act as supports. Why would a castle even need wood supports if it's made of stone? I'm not sure, but they look cool, so I don't care. I'm going to make one of these posts by gluing 4 sticks together with an ocean of hot glue in the middle. I then made 1,000,000 more of these. Which, took a while, as well as 2 shorter ones to put in special places. You're gonna be seeing a lot of these cuts between shots because honestly, I don't think it's interesting to watch me paint a whole cardboard castle or make a bunch of wooden sticks, because I don't think you have hours to sit here and watch a man craft. Now, even though these are already wood, I want to give them a deeper brown color, maybe like a stained chestnut color. And funnily enough, one of these paints is already called chestnut, so I'll be using that one. Also, I've developed an interesting technique for painting woodstuffs, in which I take a paper towel, dip it in the paint, and then I can rub all the color onto our wood, while wiping off excess and using that excess to paint other areas. I think this helps me save some paint and is also just very convenient. It does, however, get a lot of paint on me, which is more mildly annoying than anything else. I can then paint all of the other pieces the same way. At this point, it was getting tired and my hands were covered in paint and hot glue, so I called it a night. When I got back to work, the first thing I wanted to do was add some more texture to these pieces by dry brushing them with some khaki paint. Dry brushing is just a fancy term meaning squirt out some paint, dip your paintbrush in it, and get it all off so there's barely any left, and then go to town on whatever you're dry brushing. This brings out all the surface details and the edges of your objects, which gives them texture and depth. I also just colored these metal bars silver, because, metal, it's silver, why not? Here I'm implementing a very similar dry brushing technique on the bricks and the walls of the castle, but with a light gray instead of brown, for obvious reasons. I don't think anyone was going number 2 on the castle walls. Now with all the painting done, I can fit the door and this smaller beam into place. With the longer sticks, even though I could just glue them together and call it a day, it's not too realistic. I don't think wood beams can just float like that. So, I'm going to use these rubber bands to give the illusion of them being tied together. I just ripped the rubber band and then wrapped it around, like so, to give it that nice rope-bound effect. I don't even have to paint the rubber bands. I think the wood details really add a lot to the castle, so it's not just a monotone gray. And now I was thinking that I should add some banners and spots around the fortress, because again, why not? It adds some pops of color, which I think really does bring the whole thing together. All I did to make the flags was cut out some blue cardstock and draw on it with this gold marker. I do love my metallic markers, and I could just use metallic paint, but honestly, I feel like this is easier for now. There will come a time, however, when I have to stop being cheap and actually spend money on crafting materials. I also drew this cool looking symbol, and hey, check it out, IDK. What a coincidence. Additionally, I was going to add these gold-colored toothpicks for the banners to hang off, but I decided that I didn't really need them. Instead, I was going to add these toothpick X's along the pillars because, again, why not? It looks kind of cool, so I'm gonna add it. That's honestly what this entire build has been. Nothing really makes sense, logically, but in the end, it looks cool, and you clicked on this probably because of the thumbnail, or because I sent it to you. Also, these black bricks, the little parts that stuck out from before, I never actually painted them because I felt it would have been a waste, and I could just leave them black, but I didn't really like how they looked, so I decided to just color them with the same gold marker, and that seemed to work great. Also, I've intentionally been not showing the full castle yet, just to make this reveal even more exciting. So let's take a look at a week and a half of my life. Watford Castle, the phone charging fortress.